Your wallet is being steered before you make a choice.
That free trial that renews quietly, the countdown timer on a discount, the headline blaming inflation on one simple villain, the politician promising lower taxes and higher spending at the same time. These are not random.
They are incentives
Designed to push behavior while making the decision feel like yours. Economics is not just charts and textbooks. It is the lens that reveals who benefits, who pays, and why the offer feels urgent. Once you see that, manipulation gets harder.
Economics begins with one uncomfortable fact.
You cannot have everything at once. Not because you are failing, because every resource in your life has a limit. Money runs out, time runs out, energy runs out, attention runs out, housing runs out. Good opportunities pass while you are choosing between them. That limit is called scarcity, and it is the reason every choice has a cost. If you buy a car, the price is not only the monthly payment.
It is the vacation you delay,
The emergency fund you weaken, the freedom you lose if repairs appear. If you choose a higher paying job, the cost may be your evenings, your health, or the chance to build something of your own. Opportunity cost is the value of the best thing you gave up. That is why a free hour on social media is not free. It may cost sleep, focus, exercise, or the patience needed to solve a real problem. A loan may help you get something today, but it also sells part of your future income before you earn it.
This is where manipulation starts. A good salesperson, platform, or politician does not always need to lie. They only need to make you stare at the benefit and forget the trade-off. Look at the low monthly payment, not the total price. Look at the instant comfort, not the future obligation. Look at the promise, not the scarce resources required to keep it. Economics trains you to ask the question manipulators hate. What am I giving up? Because the first tactic is simple. Make the cost disappear. Hidden costs work because
The visible price is only the part you are meant to notice. A free trial does not usually make money on the first day. It makes money when cancellation is annoying, when the reminder never comes, when the charge becomes small enough to ignore. The product was not free. The cost was delayed until your attention moved somewhere else. Buy now, pay later uses the same trick.
a $60 purchase becomes 4 payments of $15.
That feels lighter, even though your income did not increase. The company has changed the shape of the price, so your brain treats it like a smaller decision. This is why framing matters. Only $9.99 a month feels harmless. $120 a year feels like a bill. Same price, different reaction.
Economics makes you translate every offer into the full cost because manipulators often win in the gap between the two. Cheap, fast fashion has another hidden price. The shirt costs $5 at the register, but the full cost may include underpaid labor, landfill waste, and pollution from production. Those costs do not vanish. They are pushed onto workers, communities, or the environment. Economists call this an externality,
A cost paid by someone who was not part of the transaction. A factory can sell cheaper products if nearby residents absorb dirty air. A driver can enjoy the road while everyone else pays through congestion. A company can sell addictive food while the health system handles the long-term damage. Governments use hidden costs too.
A program can be described as free,
But if it requires future taxes, more borrowing, or money creation that weakens purchasing power, someone still pays. The bill may arrive years later under a different name during a different election cycle. The lesson is not that every trial, loan, shirt, or public program is bad. The lesson is that the real price is often larger than the advertised price. Once you learn to look for hidden costs, you become harder to steer. But there is an even deeper layer. Costs shape choices from the outside. Incentives shape them from the inside.
Incentives are the rewards and punishments that shape behavior. They can be money, status, votes, approval, fear, comfort, or avoiding blame. If you want to understand what someone is likely to do not start with what they say they care about. Start with what they are rewarded for doing. A salesperson on commission may honestly believe in the product, but if their paycheck grows when you buy the more expensive version, that incentive matters. It does not mean they are evil. It means their situation
Pushes them toward one kind of advice over another. Social media platforms work the same way. They may talk about community, connection, and creativity, but their revenue rises when you stay longer, scroll more, react faster, and come back again. So the system rewards content that captures attention, not content that improves your life. That is why outrage spreads so so easily. Outrage keeps people watching. Confusion keeps people searching.
Fear keeps people refreshing the feed.
The platform does not need to hate you for the outcome to be harmful. It only needs to profit from your attention. Politicians face a similar problem. A leader can understand that a policy has long-term benefits, but elections reward short-term popularity. Cutting costs today can anger voters today. Promising benefits today can win support today, even if the bill arrives later. Media companies also respond to
A careful explanation may be useful,
but a shocking headline gets clicked. A quiet correction may be responsible, but a dramatic error travels faster. If advertising revenue depends on traffic, the pressure is clear. Good intentions do not erase bad incentives. A person can be sincere and still be pulled by the system around them. A company can hire kind employees and still reward them for squeezing customers. An institution can use noble language and still punish anyone who slows down the profitable behavior.
Economics trains you to ask a sharper question.
What outcome does this system pay for? Once you ask that, speeches become less distracting. You stop judging offers, platforms, campaigns, and headlines by their branding alone. You look at the scoreboard behind them. And incentives do not only shape sellers, they also shape buyers, because every market has two sides. To understand the other side, you need supply and demand.
Supply and demand is not just a chart from school.
It is a coordination system. When the price of something rises, it is usually saying one of four things. More people want it, less of it is available, it has become harder to produce, or access to it has changed. A price is not a moral judgment. It is information moving through a system. Take housing. If a city adds thousands of new workers but builds very few new homes, rents rise.
You can blame landlords, and some may absolutely exploit the situation, but the deeper pressure is scarcity. More people are competing for the same number of apartments. Concert tickets work the same way. If one artist has 50,000 seats available and 2 million people trying to buy them, the price shoots up. The high price is not only about greed, it is also telling you demand has overwhelmed supply. Gasoline prices jump when a refinery shuts down,
A war threatens shipping routes, or a regulation changes production costs. Grocery prices rise when droughts damage crops, energy gets expensive, or transportation costs increase. Wages rise when businesses need workers faster than workers are available. Prices communicate pressure. That does not mean every price is fair. It does not mean companies never manipulate markets, hide fees, restrict supply, or use emergencies to raise profits.
Economics does not ask you to
Defend every outcome. It asks you to identify what force is actually moving the outcome. This is where people become easy to manipulate. That story may contain some truth, but if it ignores shortages, regulations, production costs, interest rates, or demand, it becomes a weapon. Because once you misunderstand the cause, you become vulnerable to fake solutions. If rent is rising because housing supply is blocked, shouting at landlords will not create apartments.
If groceries are rising because
Fuel and fertilizer costs increased, anger alone will not lower the supply chain cost. Now, economics gives you a habit. Before accepting the story, ask what changed. Did demand rise? Did supply fall? Did production become more expensive? Did a rule create a bottleneck? But there is an even deeper confusion. People do not just misunderstand prices, they misunderstand money itself. And that is where manipulation becomes far more dangerous.
money becomes dangerous when you only look at the number printed on it.
If your salary rises from $50,000 to $55,000, that sounds like progress. But if prices rise faster than your income, you did not get richer. You got a bigger number with less purchasing power. This is the difference between nominal value and real value. Nominal value is the number you see. Real value is what that number actually gets you.
A 10% raise during 12% inflation is a pay cut wearing a promotion costume.
Businesses understand this illusion extremely well. A store can raise the original price of a jacket from $80 to $120, then offer a 25% discount. The sale feels generous, but the final price may still be higher than before. The customer reacts to the visible discount, not the real comparison.
Inflation works the same way
At a national scale, it does not mean every price rises evenly, and it does not mean panic is the right response. It means money slowly buys less than it used to, which changes behavior. People save differently, borrow differently, invest differently, and spend sooner if they believe waiting will make things more expensive. This is why inflation rewards some people and punishes others. If you hold cash cash while prices rise, your savings lose real value. If you owe fixed debt, inflation can make that debt easier to repay with future dollars that are worth less. If interest rates rise to fight inflation, new loans become more expensive, mortgages get harder to afford, and businesses may slow hiring. Then, compound interest enters the picture. Compound interest is simple. Your money earns money, and then that new money earns more money. Invested patiently, it can turn small amounts into serious wealth. Charged against you, it can turn a small balance into a trap. A credit card balance does not just sit there. Interest is added. Then interest grows on the larger amount. The same force that builds retirement accounts can bury people in debt. So the defense is not memorizing economic terms. The defense is learning to ask better questions. Is this number nominal or real? What happens after inflation? What is the interest rate? Who benefits if I only notice the bigger number? Practical defense is a 5-question checklist. Now, first, who benefits if I believe this? Not who sounds confident, not who has the best graphics. Who gets paid, elected, funded, followed, or protected if I act on the claim? Second, what is the trade-off? Every choice spends something: money, time, attention, flexibility, privacy, or future options. If someone says there is no downside, they are usually hiding where the cost was moved. Third, what is the opportunity cost? The real price of a decision is not only what you pay, it is what you can no longer do because you chose this instead. Buying one thing may mean delaying another. Taking one job may mean losing time to build a skill. Holding one investment may mean missing a safer or better use of that money. Fourth, what incentives are driving this? People respond to rewards and penalties. A salesperson rewarded by commission will behave differently from an advisor paid a flat fee. A politician rewarded for winning the next election may prefer a popular short-term promise over an unpopular long-term repair. Fifth, what happens if everyone does this? A choice that works for one person can fail when it becomes a crowd behavior. One person can leave early to beat traffic. If everyone leaves early, the traffic moves with them. Now apply it. Who benefits? The people already holding it, the influencer earning attention, or the platform selling trading activity? What is the trade-off? You may gain upside, but you accept volatility, poor information, and the risk of buying after the hype. What happens if everyone rushes in? The price may rise briefly, then collapse when early buyers sell. The checklist asks for the missing trade-off. Lower taxes reduce revenue unless growth or cuts fill the gap. More services cost money unless something else is reduced. Debt falls only if spending and revenue eventually line up. The promise may still have a plan, but economics forces the plan into the open. The immediate effect is comfort. The delayed consequence may be fees, high interest, or a larger purchase than you would have made with cash. The question is not whether the offer is evil. The question is whether the offer changes your behavior in a way that benefits the seller more than you. Manipulation usually advertises the first-order effect. Save today, earn fast, get more, pay later. Economics trains you to look for the second-order effect. What behavior changes, what cost appears later, and who designed the system that way. That is why economics is not just about markets, it is mental self-defense. It gives you a pause between the claim and your reaction. In that pause, manipulation loses power. Once you see incentives, trade-offs, and hidden costs, the world becomes harder to fake. Prices, headlines, discounts, and promises stop being commands. They become questions. So pause before reacting. Ask what is missing, who benefits, and what happens next. Thanks for watching. Comment one decision this lens changed for you, and subscribe for more videos that make complex systems simple.